Friday is brought to you by Colib Cafe.
This is News on Friday.
Hello and welcome to News on Friday, bringing the world to your doorstep every Friday with a weekly roundup of all the top stories.
On the program today, we find out about the Kenyan government's plan to actually deliver locally made smartphones to citizens at affordable prices. Details coming up, like we said. Later on, we'll actually let you know what you need to do so as to pass that final interview, all courtesy of Corporate Staffing Solutions, which is a leading HR company based in Nairobi, Kenya. And the second lady, Pastor Dorcas, is showing so much love to the boy child. Expect details on this as the broadcast actually progresses.
Live, we are coming live from our studios here in Nakuru, Kenya. I am Roxana Gishia.
And I'm Caleb Koyo. Let the bulletin start. Now, President William Ruto now says that Kenya will be the biggest producer of Africa's cheapest smartphones in the next 1 year. Speaking on Thursday during the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industries annual general meeting, Ruto said that the government is in talks to see that this comes to pass.
Ruto added that in the discussions with telcos, they are also exploring the possibility of having the smartphones sold cheaply. Manufacturing affordable smartphones in Kenya can have a positive impact on the local economy and provide access to technology for more people. It is an important step towards digital inclusion and can help bridge the digital divide.
We are working on smartphones to make sure that citizens from the comfort of their homes and villages can access government services. There remains significant opportunity to do more in fostering digital access and inclusion. As a matter of fact, it is possible for us in Kenya to leapfrog over more traditional ICT simply by keeping down the cost of smartphones. The possibility motivated my announcement early in the year that the government would collaborate with the private sector to roll out the first 1 million locally assembled smartphones to sell at only $40. For technology to play its role. And just for your information, the factory is up and the first 20,000 units are out. For technology to play its role as the great equalizer, it must be supported through investment to become widely available, and working between government and the private sector is a necessity, if not an imperative. Kenya's high digital connectivity complements our people's entrepreneurship. In turn, this attracts venture capital to our economy. This is why Kenya defied a global slowing down of venture capital to record Africa's strongest growth in funds raised. According to the funding tracker, Kenya emerged second in venture capital funding, tying with Nigeria, whose population is 4 times ours, and handily beating Egypt and South Africa.
Online gig work is an emerging force in the job market. Countries are so eager to capitalize on this new and growing form of work to help their most disadvantaged population and expand their economies. A new World Bank report dubbed Working Without Borders, the Promise and Peril of Online Gig Work highlights the risk, the challenges, and the enormous potential of this type of work, especially for developing countries and for marginalized groups like women, youth, and people living in rural areas.
Yes, gig work refers to short-term, freelance, or contract-based work that is often facilitated through online platforms or apps. These types of work offers flexibility and the opportunity for individuals to earn an income on a project-by-project basis, provides opportunities for individuals to earn income, especially in a rapidly digitalizing economy. However, it comes with its own set of challenges and uncertainties, and it's crucial for gig workers to stay informed, develop relevant skills, and manage their finances effectively.
Online gig work is opening a new horizon for jobs in developing countries. It holds significant potential for young people, women, and other vulnerable groups, but also comes with challenges. The World Bank report, Working Without Borders, The Promise and Peril of Online Gig Work, provides recommendations for countries to leverage these opportunities and mitigate risks while expanding social protections for all. Over the past decade, technology has fundamentally shifted traditional work patterns. It has brought economic opportunity and jobs to millions of people simply with access to broadband and a digital device. Online gig work is work that is performed and delivered online, independent of location. These jobs now account for as much as 12% of the global labor force, a number higher than earlier estimates. While developed countries dominate the demand for gig workers, demand from developing countries is rising at a much faster rate. For example, in sub-Saharan Africa, job postings on the largest digital platform grew by 130%, while the growth rate in North America was just 14%. A flexible workforce benefits businesses, especially small firms and startups, to remain competitive and agile in a dynamic market. This helps firms grow and create more jobs. Unsurprisingly, 3/4 of online platforms are in fact regional or local, and not global. The online gig economy can play an important role in countries that are struggling with high levels of youth unemployment or underemployment. Young people are attracted to gig work to earn income, learn new skills, or have the flexibility to combine gig work with school or another job. And because online gig work provides flexibility in time and location, it can support increased participation for women, young people, and others in the labor market. In fact, in most regions, women are participating in the online gig economy to a greater extent than they are participating in the general labor market. Online gig work can also help extend work opportunities in smaller towns and villages beyond large capital cities. In fact, 6 in 10 online gig workers live in smaller cities. But gig work is not without risks. In low-income countries, most people work outside the purview of labor regulations without access to social insurance and benefits. And for many gig workers, especially young people, there is often an unclear career pathway. A considerable wage gap also still exists. For example, on a major gig platform in Latin America, a female online gig worker's wage is only 68% that of her male counterparts. Governments and the private sector both have important roles to play in harnessing this potential while also addressing the risks. Digital platforms can help increase the visibility of informal workers. This can also support government efforts to expand social protection coverage for all. Some private companies are developing solutions to facilitate tax planning, savings, and financial access for gig workers. To support equitable, affordable broadband access, especially for disadvantaged groups like youth, women, and people in rural and hard-to-reach areas, countries can also prioritize investments to improve access to digital infrastructure, devices, and payment options. Countries can enhance social protection coverage of gig workers, partner with platforms, and experiment with new social insurance models and more modern, digitally enabled forms of collective bargaining. And governments can invest in strengthening their own capacity to collect data and monitor labor market trends in real time. With these and other initiatives, developing countries can leverage this growing part of the labor market to create more opportunities, expand economic inclusivity, and increase prosperity for their people.
Pastor Dorcas Rigathi has launched a wellness and rehabilitation boy-child camp at the Jamhuri Showground in Nairobi. This is actually after substance and alcohol addicts volunteered to be rehabilitated after undergoing successful screening and exercise. Pastor Dorcas called on the society to embrace the addicts and treat them as part of the larger community.
Yes, and addicts with severe cases have been taken to a rehabilitation center in Limuru, while those with less severe cases will camp at the Jamhuri grounds for 1 month while receiving treatment. The program is in line with Pastor Dorcas' boy-child rehabilitation agenda. The first cohort of reformed young men who have been undergoing rehabilitation in Timau, Meru County under her office is set to graduate in a few weeks.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we gather here at Jamhuri Park to celebrate the remarkable journey of the young men who have been with us for the past 1 month. It is a journey of transformation, rehabilitation, and growth. When they arrived, we were a small group of 11 individuals seeking a path towards a better future. Today, we are standing here, a thriving community of 78, even though our initial number was 83. We may have lost a few along the way, but it's important to remember that it is not the number that defines our success. It is the progress that we have made together. This camp, thank you. This camp provided you with a safe space where you could uplift and support one another. I am very happy to hear that you have formed bonds and great support groups, and we are looking at forming community-based organizations together. The camp is a testament to the idea that under the right circumstances, with love and care for one another, each one of you can be the best version of yourselves. For those of you with families, I urge you to break the chains of struggle and hardship and focus on nurturing and protecting your loved ones. I strive to create a better future for them. As a family, we implore you to take care of one another, be your brother's keeper, and never let anyone lose hope or be discouraged. Stand together and be a pillar of strength for one another. It is that which has made us to succeed here, because we stood here as one family, united, and where one was weak and the other one was strong, we could hold each other, and we loved each other. We didn't have any prejudices. We just loved one another, just like brothers and sisters. The book of Hebrews 10, verse 24 and 25 says, "And let us consider how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but are encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching."
The Ignite African Youth Project is an initiative by European Partnership for Democracy and Youth Democracy Cohort implemented by the Youth Cafe and its member organizations with financial support from the European Union.
Yes, and their project focuses on increasing youth engagement, especially young women from Africa, a continent that has one of the youngest population in the world, with approximately 75% of its population being under the age of 35 years.
Africa is a continent of young people, with 75% of the population below the age of 35 and nearly 50% under the age of 19.
Yet across Africa, instability, climate-related security, weak state capacity, the 10 years rule of law, amendment or removal of term limits, high inequality, illegitimate elections, inadequate judicial systems, and corruption continue to erode our democracy.
Lack of institutional capacity undermines youth engagement in African democracies. From low visibility of youth as voters, limited capacity of youth-led advocacy, cultural attitudes, underrepresentation or exclusion of youth in decision-making, loss of trust in democracy, online disinformation and misinformation, hence persistently hindering young people's participation, especially in leadership roles.
The Youth Democracy Cohort Report on Youth Political and Civic Engagement shows declining empowerment and engagement with regard to supporting youth in governance, youth freedom of expression, promotion of political participation, and a human rights culture.
This calls for African youth-centered advocacy action, recognizing the importance of youth democratic participation and inclusion in Africa so as to address these challenges. The Youth Cafe will partner with Youth Democracy Cohort and youth member organizations through various complementary interventions in Kenya, Ghana, Zambia, and Central African Republic through the Ignite Africa Youth Project.
This will be achieved through an assessment of the current state of youth engagement, especially young women in political and civic processes, capacity building, communications campaigns, coaching and mentorship, advocacy and engagement, as well as monitoring and evaluation.
Targeting young people from sub-Saharan Africa countries, namely Zambia, Kenya, Central African Republic, and Ghana, as well as recognizing that youth is not a homogeneous group.
The Ignite African Youth Project seeks to increase youth engagement, especially young women from Africa, in active and meaningful roles in the democratic processes due to strengthened and enhanced political and civic capacities, as well as raising awareness on the Summit for Democracy and the menu of possible commitments.
Join us as we continue to push boundaries, break youth-centered barriers, and increasing youth-generated and focused knowledge of democratic governance in Africa through the Ignite African Youth Project.
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 That's true, and with that, it's time to look at more stories making headlines this week. And we start in Homa Bay County, where we have some good news for the young people. We have the Mama County Initiative. Now, this week, Governor Gladys Wanga launched the Mama County Back to School program in Mirogi Ndiwa constituency. This initiative, spearheaded by the Ndiwa constituency MP, Dr. Joyce Osogo, is a transformative mentorship and empowerment project for the youth. Wanga noted that it is the responsibility of leaders to collaborate and ensure that the well-being of young people are discussed so that their lives are actually improved.
Mombasa County reaffirms its place as County 001 by ensuring that public ECD children participate fully in the CBC. The county government of Mombasa signed a collaboration agreement with EIDU Education Limited to provide digital learning and devices to all students in 95 public ECD centers. EIDU visions a world where every child can realize their full potential through quality education.
And that's very true. We move to Kisumu County, where we understand that this week over 70 participants from the area received digital training and skills facilitated by the county government in collaboration with Ajira Digital Program at the Rotary. The 2 days training program included digital skills, tools, and mentorship needed for online work. And we also understand that the program is prioritized to actually serve the women, the youth from all over the county, to promote digital empowerment and to ensure that these young people can actually sustain themselves economically and socially.
Yes, and the Ajiri Digital Training is a platform that provides high-demand digital skills to increase empowerment and income generation potential, as well as guide participants on developing socially responsible digital startups, building leadership and entrepreneurial skills to drive change and innovation.
The training was graced by County Director of ICT, Ms. Maurice Award, together with Ajira Regional Coordinator, Mr. Cliff Orina. This is News on Friday. Still coming up on the program this week, the Kenyan Youth Internet Governance Forum actually happened the other day, and this was actually exploring Kenyan's top cybersecurity threats and how capacity development empowers the young people. More details on this story after this very short breather. Stay with us.
The future is youthful. The future is skillful. The future is you. Kama kijana, all you need is a chance and a place to apply your knowledge and skills to shape future yako. Technical and vocational education and training zinakupea the life skills zenye zitakuwezesha kushape future yako. Kwa kudevelop professional interest, talents na passion zako, una gain power ya create jobs, drive entrepreneurship na increase socio-economic prospects zako.
I came here to shine. The reason I don't killing at my shows.
Are you ready for the future?
Ujuzi ni kazi.
It's buried in my soul. Najua mimi ndo next.
Yes, welcome back. This is News on Friday. The Internet Governance Forum is an open and inclusive multi-stakeholder forum where public policy issues are related to key elements of Internet governance, such as the Internet sustainability, robustness, security, stability, and development.
That's very true. This year's forum explored Kenyan's top cybersecurity threats and how capacity development empowers the youth. It shared on digital integration of cybersecurity in education and opportunities in the field as well, and the program. This edition's panelists included Dr. Bright Kameli, Cybersecurity Lead Mara, Fraser Kilonzo, who is a Cybersecurity Community Lead here in Kenya, and the discussion was actually moderated by Linda Gichohi, who is a lawyer and a human rights enthusiast.
One of the biggest challenges is for guys getting resources and also getting into spaces whereby they're able to learn. How can I be able, especially for cybersecurity, how can I be able to learn about cybersecurity? Majority of the places you check out online are quite expensive, damn expensive. And for me, I'm a product of free online learning. As long as I have internet, no matter what machine, I've taught myself cybersecurity from second year campus. From second year campus, all through. And each day is a learning day, even as I work, each day is a learning day. So going online, there are so many free resources online, there are so many free tools online. As long as you have the will and mindset that you want to learn, you will most definitely get all the resources. Getting friends who are in the spaces, getting people who are in the spaces, getting mentorship. So many guys are quite, quote unquote, if I can call it, lazy. Why do I say lazy? Because some of the guys who approach me and approach Dr. Bright, yes, they want to learn about cybersecurity.
The Kimplanta Seedlings and Nurseries is a seedling nursery located in Ruiru, Kenya. They propagate seedlings of vegetables, herbs, fruits and trees for farmers of all capacities from large-scale, small-scale to kitchen gardens and distribute conveniently countrywide.
The company is renowned for being a youth and women-led agricultural organization utilizing locally available resources for plant raising while still embracing new technologies to keep up with advanced model of tech-savvy agriculture.
Hello, my name is Caroline Mokuhe. I'm the founder and CEO of Kimplanta Seedlings and Nurseries Limited. Over the years, climate change has led to drought. Harsh weather conditions cannot allow crops to grow. We at Kimplanta Seedlings, we are helping thousands of farmers to adopt to this sad and harsh reality by propagating for them drought-resistant seedlings to promote Sustainable Development Goals 1, 2, 3, 8 and 12 by ending poverty, ending hunger, improving health, economic growth, and responsible consumption. Do you see all these innovations in agriculture? They cannot survive without us Kimplanter seedlings because we produce the basic entry into the agricultural value chain, the seedling. We offer drought-resistant seedlings to these smallholder farmers at the cost of $2. We also aggregate these farmers into groups and train them on proper crop management. We also offer our precious product to organizations that have climate action as an agenda. We have an 8 million beachhead market of smallholder farmers in East Africa, 33 million smallholder farmers in Sub-Saharan Africa, and 500 million smallholder farmers in the world. The value we offer to our customers is our seedlings are well researched, developed, and tested. Their drought-resistant nature encourages dryland farming. They are affordable as we have subsidized the cost of the seedlings. They are sustainable as they are able to thrive through the seasons of the year, promoting food production. We offer social impact through training the farmers on crop management. The products, our drought-resistant seedlings, are keenly researched and selected varieties that can adapt to dry, hot conditions and low moisture content. They include vegetable seedlings, fruit seedlings that are scientifically grafted for adaptability to drought, reduce the growth period, and increase the yield. We have tree seedlings for economic management, and there's a long-term investment for these young farmers. We also offer agronomic training. To identify with our customers, we ask the following question to 225 people in 15 African countries. Is farming an alternative source of income? Has climate change affected your production patterns? Is a drought-resilient seedling a solution for you? And this is what they had to say. Agriculture remains the backbone of the economic survival. Climate change has seriously affected their production and output. Smallholder farmers would really appreciate highly resistant and yielding seedlings. Our financials, commanding a 10% share of 8 million farmers, selling just 100 pieces to these smallholder farmers who will be able to sell 80 million products in a year, giving us a profitability of 80 million. Our profit budget is $1 per product. The dream team is led by myself, Caroline, Nicholas Kahenga, who is our agribusiness management advisor, Doreen Wangari, David Gitao, Lucy Wamboi, and our dream is to conduct more in-depth research and development of drought-resistant seedlings to create 7,000 direct jobs by empowering young smallholder farmers with our ambition to expand our production capacity, to attain a total revenue of $80 million by selling to just 10% of the untapped market of our product, to contribute to 15% of food security in Africa as we eradicate seasonal hunger and drought. Thank you very much.
The transition to green jobs requires collective commitment and holistic action, as it is a viable solution to reducing unemployment in Kenya. Green jobs can drive economic growth by fostering innovation, investment, and market expansion in renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, clean technology, and more.
On the other hand, businesses in the green sector offer opportunities for long-term employment and contribute to economic resilience by reducing dependence on finite resources and volatile markets. Here's a conversation on how green economy can actually help solve climate change and youth unemployment in Kenya.
Most pressing priority for us right now as a country is to look for opportunities where we can create opportunities for young people. Globally, the green economy is estimated to be worth around $4 trillion. That's a huge opportunity that coming together will allow us to be able to unlock. Again, the Kenya GDP has continued to grow steadily as a result of digital economy to a rate of 7% and expected to rise to 9.24% contribution to GDP by 2025. And therefore, integrating digital economy to green initiative is an important priority for all of us today. As we continue to look through the various partners and actors in the digital economy, we recognize the role the private sector plays. We believe the innovation, the skills development, the capacity for accelerating development can be a very important driver for unlocking the potential of green economy if private sector is well enabled to be able to do so. More important for us today here is to ask ourselves, even as we continue to look at the green economy, what's the role of digital economy? What tools, resources, innovations should we be bringing that our young people can be able to leverage as we together advance and create new horizons for work and also for enterprise within green economy.
In junk heapings, like I said, we collect waste, and we are happy about the transition from linear economy to circular economy. Linear economy, like the Tari said, most people don't know what it is. It is when we used to collect, transport, and dispose waste. But along the way, we realized there's a lot of resources in this waste. And luckily, before even the circular economy model was introduced, we had already started segregation of waste at junk heapings. Segregation of waste is what Dr. was talking about. There's a lot of recoverables in our waste. So when we put our waste in one basket, we throw it away. But when we segregate, we put the plastic separate, the cartons, the cans, and organic waste. All these are recoverable, and our target is to ensure zero waste, zero landfill in the long run. There's a lot of potential in this. Initially, waste collection was termed as a job for people who've not been to school. And I tell the youth, when you choose what to do, you will never get a job. But when you get into something and do the best that you can.
So we've been carrying out a lot of training on how to safely take care of e-waste. So we've trained more than 2,000 young people on just gender awareness and how they can take care of e-waste. We've come up with mobile solar-powered classrooms, which go across the country. We have one in Kapma, because we also realize that even the underserved, they need to be aware of the effects of e-waste. And we have other trucks that move in other parts of the country, just creating that awareness and training young people.
The final interview is a culmination of your effort, skills, and preparation. It's a juncture where you can demonstrate your expertise, enthusiasm, and sustainability for the position. But how do you ensure that you shine in this critical encounter?
That's a very good question. So if you're ready to put your best foot forward and secure that dream job, let's dive into the strategies and tips that will empower you to pass your final interview with flying colors. This is all courtesy of Corporate Staffing Solutions, a leading human resource company based in Nairobi, Kenya.
Number one, as a candidate, you need to know that this interview should be given the same kind of seriousness, just like any other interview. In fact, what I normally tell candidates is to treat the final interview as though it is the very first one. So the same way you had prepared for it initially, it's the same way you need to prepare also for the final stage. Why do I say that? Because in most cases you will find in the final interview there is always a new person or a new face that you're going to meet there. The employer has taken you through the first stage, maybe the second stage, and this is the third and the final one. They will always have a third party in the panel just to help them affirm or rather ascertain that indeed they have the right candidate. So for you as a candidate, if you did not take your time to prepare very well for the final interview, then the third party whom you are meeting for the very first time may not have the right impression of you. And remember, the employer is relying fully on them to help them make the final decision. So tip number one, ensure that you give it the same energy in terms of preparation, get to prepare in terms of the job description, be able to still demonstrate your knowledge of the role, talk about your track record, how your journey, your experience has really prepared you for the role at hand, what is really motivating you to work for that organization, understand the employer still in terms of what is currently trending about them, what is currently in the news about their services, what's your passion towards that industry or sector. So preparation is still very key. Another tip for the final interview is always prepare a set of questions for the panel. And in this case, maybe the kind of questions you would prepare for a final interview are expected to be slightly different from the questions you had prepared for the other stages of the interview. Remember, at the final stage, the employer is seeing you already as one of their employees. And so even at this stage, the kind of questions you will be asking, because every interview session, whether it is the first one, second, or last one, the last question will always be, do you have any questions for us? So ensure even at this final stage, be strategic with the kind of questions that you have for the panel. Ensure the questions are really selling you out in terms of being seen as someone who is passionate and ready to work and to help the organization drive or rather achieve their objectives or their goals as per the role at hand. Very important, yeah.
I think here is also where you get to discuss about salary. And most people don't do their research on how the industry is paying and how they can be able to negotiate better offers for themselves. So I think this is something also to consider, to do your research around that.
Let's have a look at what you might have missed this week. The Sauti Kuu Foundation is a non-profit organization established and registered in 2010 in Kenya and in 2011 in Germany, respectively. Sauti Kuu works with disadvantaged children and young people, particularly in the rural areas, to help them and their families utilize locally available resources to improve their living condition and gain financial stability.
International Peace Day. This week, the world celebrated the annual International Peace Day, also known as World Peace Day. It is observed annually on the 21st of September. It is a day dedicated to promoting and celebrating world peace and the absence of war and violence. The United Nations established this day to emphasize the importance of peace in the global community and to encourage individuals, communities, and also nations to work towards peaceful resolutions of conflicts.
After a 3-year pause caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, the Baringo County Agricultural Show is making a comeback and it's promising to be even more spectacular than ever. The show began yesterday, September 21st, and will run until 23rd of September 2023 at the Kabarnet Showground. It has so far drawn exhibitors and visitors from all corners of the country.
Babu's new role. Cabinet Secretary for Youth Affairs, Arts and Sports, Ababu Namwamba, has been appointed by President William Ruto to the United Nations Global Leadership Council for Generation Unlimited. Generation Unlimited is a United Nations platform dedicated to promoting the interests and well-being of the world's youth. Namwamba embarked on his first official duty as a member of the Global Leadership Council during the 78th United Nations General Assembly, also known as UNGA, in New York, USA, on the 21st of September 2023. Namwamba's new role comes months before the Youth Connects Africa Summit, which will be held in Nairobi in December this year. Mr. Namwamba has urged Kenyan youths to come up with innovative ideas to be presented during the summit, where the government will award the winners with money to support the initiatives. And we take a very short break. Sports is up next.
Na moto fate mototo yeni chocho kwa chocho joto kwa joto tazima na moto nifate mototo chocho kwa chocho make you dance to the shoko
It's E. Kelly. I'm gonna lose your dance.
Welcome back. Let's talk sports. The Harambee Starlets head coach, Beldin Odemba, has expressed her team's readiness and optimism as they prepare to face Cameroon in the 2024 African Women Cup of Nations qualifiers. The first leg of this high-stakes encounter is slated for Friday, September 22nd at the Illustrious Reunification Stadium in Douala, Cameroon.
That's true. The stakes are so high in this two-legged qualifier as the aggregate winners will move on to the second round scheduled for November 27th and December 5th, 2023. If Harambee Starlets emerge victorious in this stage, they will secure automatic qualification for the prestigious 2024 Africa Women's Cup of Nations set to be hosted in Morocco. And good to know that the girls are back in camp, all of them. Gentrix, Dogo, AC Akida is making a comeback, and we actually expect them to win tonight. That marks the end of the broadcast this week, but something so interesting actually happened this week. Rachel Ruto, who is the First Lady, flew to the US to invite televangelist Benny Hinn for a government-sponsored nationwide crusade. What happened to phone calls, emails, texts, and all that? Rocky?
No comment.
You are the First Lady, so you can get to talk to whoever you want to talk to. You can ask for somebody to give you the number. You can even call the White House.
Sometimes it's nice to make a presence.
No. She traveled there with her team. The pastor was saying this in church, that something so amazing happened, a miracle happened. The First Lady of Kenya came all the way from Kenya with her team to beg me to go to Kenya.
Maybe they wanted to experience the miracles firsthand. You never know.
I don't know. Maybe we need prayer. Maybe we have so much money that we spend it on, private jets to the US to ask pastors to come home. I feel like the Second Lady is working so hard, making moves, ensuring that the boys are okay and the girls are okay. And the First Lady is actually chilling, just praying for the nation and all that. But we don't need prayers, honestly.
What do we need?
We need work to be done. That money
True.
that she used to go to the US, I can use it on some activity. Maybe we can send that as bonuses to Harambee Starlets who are away right now playing Cameroon.
Or maybe help, fight some other things that we are fighting right now.
True story. Or use that money to ensure that every girl playing football in Kenya is insured, because these girls don't have insurance.
True.
But if they get injured, that's the end of their career. But the First Lady is traveling to the US on a very big jet just to tell the preacher, yo, come to Kenya, please. Come to Kenya. We have an amazing tour for you, and the government is going to pay you. Anyway, see you next week. And go to church this Sunday. Don't wait for the preacher to come from the US.
And I am Roxana Gishia. See you next Friday.
Coalim TV, empowering the youth.